Hey everybody, welcome to the Columbus Wired Quick Hit pregame preview. I'm Andy Evans. Thanks for coming along for the ride. And here we are, live at the Horseshoe for game number 2 of the 2022 football season, featuring the third-ranked Ohio State Buckeyes taking on the mighty Red Wolves of Arkansas State, who are playing out of the Sun Belt Conference. Now, we've got a couple of interesting Ohio connections between the Red Wolves and the Buckeyes. Going to get into that in just a second. But so far, what do we know about Arkansas State? Well, we know that they're a team that went 2-10 last year, one of their worst years since going 1-10 in 2010. They've got a second-year head coach by the name of Butch Jones. Some of you out there might be thinking, Butch Jones, why does that sound familiar? Well, it should, because he was Cincinnati's head coach from 2010 to 2012. Butch Jones also spent 3 years before being the head coach of Arkansas State last year, the previous 3 years to that, at Alabama as an offensive analyst for Nick Saban from 2018 to 2020. Yeah, he was one of the guys responsible for cooking up that insane offensive game plan that ultimately took down Ohio State in the national championship game. So they got Butch Jones, second-year head coach, taking over after not very good years preceding that. But he stripped them down, built them back up, went to the transfer portal, brought in some guys who helped them to a 58-3 victory over Grambling State last weekend. Now, before you poo-poo that, take into consideration second-year coach that went 2-10 last year, one of their worst years in recent history. Led by quarterback James Blackman, and that's another name that might sound familiar to a lot of hardcore college football fans, because James Blackman, a transfer from Florida State. In fact, he was heralded as kind of the next coming as far as being a quarterback that was going to lead them to a significant turnaround from their 2013 season. 2017, he was ranked third in the country in passing yards for true freshmen with over 2,200 passing yards on the year, redshirted the next year, and then in 2019, as a redshirt sophomore, was a team captain, started 10 games, played in 12, had a great season, then fell off the map in 2020, did not play as much. In fact, I believe he only started two out of 4 games that he played for that entire year. Of course, it was a shortened year because of COVID. Then he decided to transfer to Arkansas State last year and started 5 of the 6 games that he played in. However, sidelined with a season-ending injury and did not play in the final 6 games of the year. However, he came back strong last weekend against Grambling State. 15-20, 210 yards, 2 passing touchdowns, no interceptions, and 7 of those passes, 122 of those yards, and 1 of those touchdown passes thrown to another transfer, Champ Flemings from Oregon State. So, Buckeye fans, be wary of the combo between Champ Flemings and James Blackman. Could be interesting to see how they do against Ohio State secondary that played pretty darn good against Notre Dame last weekend. Also, another Ohio connection, running back Brian Sneed, who ran 12 times for 59 yards and a touchdown in last weekend's win against Grambling State. And you're probably wondering, why does that name sound familiar? Yes, the same Brian Sneed that came in as a 4-star recruit out of Florida for the Buckeyes in 2018. However, after 2 games, Brian Sneed was then accused of sexual assault. Now, no official charges were filed against him, but the university did an investigation, and they deemed at that time that his dismissal was warranted. So he was dismissed from the team. This is now his 4th school that he's played for. He's finally found a home at Arkansas State after trips to Iowa Western Community College as well as Austin Peay. So now Brian Sneed is back playing in the Horseshoe, where he started his career as a 5th-year senior. He's going to be splitting time today with fellow 5th-year senior running back Johnny Lang, who toted the ball 13 times for 124 yards and a rushing touchdown in that win against Grambling State last weekend. Now, their defense, keep an eye on a true freshman at defensive end for the Red Wolves, Kieron Crawford. 5 solo tackles, 3 for loss, including a sack. Going to be interesting to see how he fares against some veteran offensive linemen in DeJuan Jones, Paris Johnson, Donovan Jackson, as well as at right guard there, Matthew Jones. So a very veteran offensive line heralding the Buckeyes today, and an offensive line that had a great push last weekend in that 21-10 win against the Irish right here in the Horseshoe, as a lot of people remember, right? May not have been the win that Buckeye Nation was looking for, but as Al Davis once said, just win, baby, just win. Today is probably going to be a lot different for this offense. C.J. Stroud last weekend, 24 of 34, 223 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, took a sack. I think we're probably going to expect a little higher stats from him today. You're probably going to see him play at least through the third quarter. I would expect, though, by the fourth quarter, the Buckeyes are probably going to have a pretty good lead at that point, and we're probably going to be seeing a lot of true freshmen playing today, and we might even see some true freshmen playing early. So keep your eye on guys like Sonny Styles, who should be a senior this year at Pickerington Central, graduated a whole year early. 6'4", 215-pound, 18-year-old kid at safety. Keep your eye on him because he could see some time on the field today. Also look for Kai Stokes at safety, Caden Curry at defensive end. On the offensive side of the ball, we're going to see Kyle McCord come out. I'm actually anxious to see how he performs, the true sophomore from Philadelphia. Keep your eye on receivers. Caleb Burton, Caleb Brown, maybe. Kion Grays, maybe. It's going to be interesting to see who they're going to throw out there as far as freshmen and redshirt freshmen are concerned. But there's no doubt that the Buckeyes are loaded, and they can probably get some young kids some playing time without obviously burning a red shirt. I think this is definitely the game to do it. In the backfield, Williams, Henderson, 172 combined yards, and had a great performance. The offensive line, I asked personally a couple of guys, Donovan Jackson and Matthew Jones, how they felt about what it was like being called upon to essentially lead the team down the field. Long touchdown drive there in the fourth quarter, the game-sealing TD, and they said obviously it felt great, given the fact that they really were so pass-heavy last year, right? They really relied on the pass so much to get the job done. However, Notre Dame was playing such good pass defense last weekend that they really had to rely on the run. Plus, Ryan Day came out and said throughout fall camp, toughness, endurance, that overall commitment to wanting to be better, especially in the toughness factor. And I think they proved it last week on that final touchdown drive. So we're going to see, though, if Mayan Williams is going to play. It's being reported that there was a death in his family. So and this happened after, it was being reported after Ryan Day's lightning press conference on Thursday afternoon. So no official word as to whether Mayan Williams will play today or not because of that unfortunate loss in his family, but we're going to find out. If he is unable to go, I think everybody can feel pretty confident about Travion Henderson carrying the load, and another true freshman to look out for, running back Dallin Hayden. So remember that name, especially if Mayan Williams can't play today. I think we're definitely going to see quite a bit of Dallin Hayden. Ultimately, this is a game the Buckeyes should cruise through. They're favored by 44.5 points. Now, they didn't cover the 17.5 last weekend against Notre Dame. I'm going to call it. They're covering the spread today. Final score, Buckeyes 56, Arkansas State 10. And don't give me any grief about the 10-point win or the 10 points given up by the defense, because I think that going into the fourth quarter, the Buckeyes will maybe have allowed a field goal, and then you're going to see some of those younger guys come in, probably going to give up a touchdown. So that's my pick. Take it to the bank. Thanks for watching, everybody. Take care and go Bucks.